5 most haunted medieval relics on display in museums. Have you ever wondered if the past can still reach out and touch us? If the agony, fear, and dark energy of the Middle Ages could somehow linger not in ruins or castles, did in the very objects preserved behind glass? The truth is chilling. Some of the most haunted relics of medieval history are not buried or lost. They redisplayed in museums today, where anyone can stand face to face with them. These are not ordinary artifacts. They are executioners' masks that once hid merciless eyes, torture chairs that held broken bodies, sacred relics tainted by blood. And weapons that carried more than steel, they carried curses. Historians call them pieces of heritage, but countless visitors, guards, and even curators whisper that they are alive with something else, an aura of dread, a presence that refuses to fade. Imagine walking into a museum only to feel a sudden chill in front of one exhibit. Imagine reading its plaque, learning its history, while a voice inside you whispers, "This object has seen suffering you cannot imagine." Would you still stand there staring, or would you turn away before the shadows stir? Tonight, we uncover 5 of the most haunted medieval relics still on display in museums, objects that remind us the past is never truly gone. And sometimes, it refuses to stay silent. Relic 1. The iron chair. Imagine walking into a medieval torture museum and seeing a chair not made for comfort, but for pure agony. The iron chair of Nuremberg, one of the most feared instruments of the Middle Ages, looks almost ordinary at first glance. But a closer look reveals the horror. The seat, back, and even the armrests are lined with hundreds of sharpened iron spikes. Victims were stripped and forced to sit on this monstrosity. Their limbs were strapped down tightly, ensuring that every movement drove the spikes deeper into their flesh. Sometimes the chair was heated with fire from below, turning the metal into a blazing instrument of slow, unbearable torture. The agony was not meant to kill quickly, it was meant to humiliate, terrify, and extract confessions. What makes the iron chair more than just a gruesome relic is the aura that surrounds it. Museum visitors often report a wave of nausea, dizziness, or sudden chills when standing too close. Some say they feel as if invisible eyes are watching them, or as if the cries of past victims still echo through the room. Guards have admitted that even after years of working near it, they refuse to linger alone in its presence. Today, this relic sits safely behind glass, but the legends insist that the suffering it witnessed has seeped into the iron itself. To look upon it is to look into the eyes of medieval cruelty and perhaps to brush against the lingering spirits of those who never escaped its spikes. Relic 2. The executioner's mask behind glass in several European museums rests an object that once struck terror before a single blow was delivered. The executioner's mask, made of heavy leather or iron, often painted black or shaped into grotesque faces. This mask was not simply a disguise, it was a symbol of dread, of death, walking among the living. In the Middle Ages, the executioner was both feared and shunned. He carried out the will of kings and courts, yet society saw him as tainted by blood. To protect his identity or perhaps his soul, he hid behind the mask. But over time, the mask itself became charged with the weight of his deeds. Each beheading, each hanging, each burning left its invisible stain. Visitors who stand before these masks today often describe a chilling sensation, as though the eye holes are not empty at all, but still watching. Some report nightmares after seeing them, dreams of shadowy figures looming in the dark, of blades flashing, of muffled screams cut short. Museum staff have whispered that the glass protecting the masks sometimes fogs inexplicably, as though exhaled upon by unseen breath. The executioner's mask is more than leather and metal. It is a relic of fear, of the thin line between justice and cruelty, and of the human faces hidden behind ritualized death. To stare into its hollow eyes is to confront centuries of violence and to feel if only for a moment, the oppressive silence of the condemned awaiting their fate. Relic 3. The Iron Maiden. Few relics of the medieval world inspire as much fear as the Iron Maiden. Standing tall like a coffin made of steel, its hollow body was built to swallow a victim whole. But what makes this object infamous are the spikes that line its interior, sharp, merciless points, positioned so that when the doors closed, they pierced the flesh without striking vital organs immediately. Death came slowly, with unbearable pain. Though some historians debate whether the Iron Maiden was truly used in the Middle Ages or created later as a symbol of cruelty, its reputation alone has made it one of the most terrifying relics on display. In museums across Europe, visitors stand frozen before it, imagining the suffocating darkness, the stench of blood, and the echo of muffled screams that would have filled its iron chamber. Curators tell stories of unease surrounding the maiden. Some report that the air grows inexplicably cold near it. Others say they feel a pressure in their chest, as though the relic itself is trying to trap them inside. A few even claim to hear faint scratching sounds, like fingernails clawing at the iron walls from within. Whether it was truly used or not, the Iron Maiden embodies the darkest imagination of medieval torment. It has become a symbol of fear itself, an icon of cruelty so powerful that just standing in front of it makes people question how far humanity has gone in the name of punishment. Looking upon it is like gazing into a nightmare made real. Relic 4. The cursed rosary in the heart of medieval Europe. Rosaries were not merely prayer beads, they were lifelines to salvation, tokens of protection against evil. But some relics remind us that even sacred objects can become tainted by darkness. One such artifact is known among collectors and curators as the Cursed Rosary, now kept under strict display in select museums. Legend says this rosary once belonged to a monk who betrayed his vows, using his holy office to indulge in forbidden desires. When discovered, he was condemned, and the rosary he clutched as he died was said to absorb his rage, shame, and despair. Over centuries, whispers spread. Those who prayed with the beads were plagued by nightmares, illnesses, or sudden misfortune. Visitors who view the rosary behind its protective glass often describe a heavy atmosphere. Some claim the beads appear to darken when touched by light, as if swallowing the brightness. Guards report unusual occurrences, prayers whispered in empty halls, the faint scent of burning incense when none is lit, and shadows flickering where no one stands. Whether these are legends or the power of suggestion, the cursed rosary carries with it an aura undeniable to those who stand before it. Once a tool of devotion, it has become a relic of fear-proof that even objects meant for salvation can turn into conduits of torment. To gaze upon it is to ask, is it the faith of the living that empowers relics, or the sins of the damned? Relic 5. The Skull Reliquary. Among the strangest relics preserved from the Middle Ages are reliquaries containers, crafted to hold the bones of saints and martyrs. Most were objects of devotion, adorned with jewels and gold. But one reliquary stands apart, not for its beauty, but for the dread it inspires. A skull encased in silver. Said to belong to a martyred monk whose spirit never found peace, the reliquary was once displayed in a small monastery chapel. Pilgrims came to pray before it, but soon stories spread of miracles gone wrong, withered crops after blessings, sudden deaths, and families who carried away tokens of the skull's dust. Terrified, the monks locked it away. Centuries later, it reappeared in a museum collection where its unsettling presence continues to disturb visitors. Standing before the reliquary, many describe the feeling of being watched. The hollow eye sockets, though covered by glass, seem to bore into the soul. Some say they've seen the jaw shift slightly, as if trying to whisper. Others report that cameras and phones malfunction near the display, images blurring or vanishing altogether. Museum staff have quietly admitted that cleaning crews refuse to work near it at night. The skull reliquary is more than a container of bones. It is a reminder of how thin the veil between reverence and fear can be. Once venerated as holy, it now lingers as a haunted echo of medieval faith turned to terror. To look into its empty eyes is to confront the question: what if relics carry not only the memory of the dead, but their restless souls as well? From the iron chair that pierced flesh with spikes to the executioner's mask that still seems to stare back at those who dare to look. From the Iron Maiden's nightmare of steel to the cursed rosary twisted from faith into fear, and finally the skull reliquary, with its hollow eyes that refuse to rest, each relic reminds us that the Middle Ages were not just an era of castles and kings, but of shadows, pain, and lingering dread. These haunted artifacts stand today in museums, silent yet alive with centuries of suffering. They whisper that history is never truly buried, and that objects can carry the echoes of the souls who once touched them. To gaze upon them is to stand on the edge of the medieval world itself, where faith, fear, and cruelty blurred into something darker. Now I want to ask you, if you ever stood before one of these relics, do you feel only curiosity, or would the past reach out and touch you too? If you enjoyed this journey into the haunted relics of the medieval world, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Dark History Archive, and join us for more terrifying secrets from the past. The shadows of history are waiting.